Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. We're here for another video. Let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. Hey guys, I know, first of all, this is outside, my schedule. I upload Saturday and Sunday. If you don't know, I upload Saturday and Sunday. But life had been lifing, okay? Life was just bow, 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 you know? And I couldn't get the time. I was still reading, but I couldn't get the time to actually sit down and record and edit. And when I did record, I didn't have the time, like, I couldn't sit down and edit it. And then when I went to go edit it, I was just like, I actually don't like this video. And I have read more. There was books that I was going to read that I actually ended up reading. So I was like, let me just re-record this whole video. So what are we talking about today? If you haven't already read the title, we are wrapping up the romances that I read in the month of February. Which is actually, I read a lot. A lot of them are Kindles. And then some of them are oldies, still goodies. That's up for question mark, because I'm so glad that I actually redid this video for y'all, because at first I was just like, yes, I used to love these, but I used to love them when I was like, like young, like a teenager. And I'm not anymore. So well, if the opinions held up, let's talk about that. But yes, so I haven't even counted how much. Sorry, I'm pulling it up. I'm gonna put how many books I read this month up here, and it's probably gonna be in the description. I don't know as I'm recording this. We're just gonna go through all the ones I read. Some of them, if they're romances, is another one that's on the fence. I guess we'll go through that too. And we're just going to consider this my monthly wrap up. It's just because I just mainly outside of the reviews that I've done, which I'm not going to include in this video, because if I did, it would just add more time. And plus, I already gave my opinions on these books. I'll link them down below. The recent reviews that I've done for February, or my February reviews, I'll link them down below. Also, they're like my past 3 videos from this video, if you want to know. But still, making it easy for y'all. I'm going to link it down below. Okay, let's not waste any time. So starting off this month, the first book I read was Free Game by Kema. I didn't actually read it. I listened to it on audiobook, which is fun. I love when Emmanuel and Wesley like do audiobooks together. The other audiobook I listened to by them was the Muted Love series, which was my read for another audiobook I listened to in January, and that was a 3-part series, and I loved it. I loved it. Eat that ish up. Like 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. Love Belvin. And I've read a lot of her other series. And the Muted Love series is going into one of my favorites. Okay. But Free Game is a novella. It's really short. It's actually a really short audiobook listen. It's about this girl. Her name is Isis, and she works at a tattoo shop, and she meets this rapper who's actually about to retire from the game. His name is Free. And yeah, there's this instant attraction, but Isis is not interested in being in a relationship. She has some trust issues, in some relationships that, men haven't been the best or the most loyal. So she's like, I don't want to be a Free. I definitely don't want to be a rapper. And pretty much they have this romance going on. But also, okay, I don't like insta love. Y'all, when I go back to the books that I've read before, that I reread, I'm not a big, like, I met you, I fell in love with you type of romance reader. If I do decide to read a romance, I like some growth, some warming up to one another, some getting to know each other phases, so this wasn't necessarily for me. It was average, a little bit below average for me. The next series I read, or the next book I read, was Impact by Taisha S. Ryan. So, okay, so so this book, the description is what cooked me, what brought me in. So this book follows the character Andre, and he used to be like a pimp. That's the only best way I can put it. He used to be a pimp, and he was in these streets. And he has a beef with this other guy on the streets. And so he goes on a run. He leaves his baby mama and his daughter in a house, and the guy that he has beef with ends up rolling up to the house and killing his baby mama and killing his daughter. Can I say that without getting like blocked? So he's like torn up into pieces about it. He's like, I can't believe I left, my child, and now my child is gone. And like he's just really in a mentally low place, like suicidal, and he's about to kill himself when we meet Andre in the book. But then an officer saves him, and then he gets enrolled in a facility for like his depression, for his mental health. And a friend comes and visits him, and he's all like, hey, like the streets are talking and your daughter's still alive. Your baby mama actually had a sister. He didn't even know his baby mama had family, let alone a sister, and let alone that his daughter was alive. So he's from California. He ends up being in New York, and he finds out that the sister, the long lost sister, is living in New York. So he goes to her, hoping to to reestablish a relationship with his daughter. But, there's some push and pull because the sister's like, boy, like, you were pretty much pimping my sister. Like, this is not healthy. You're in these streets. My niece is in a very good environment right now. So I don't want you to have a relationship with my daughter. But he keeps coming around. A relationship blooms. A lot of mess ensues. A lot of mess. Okay. So much mess ensues by the end. I was like, baby, I don't even want them to be together. Is this a romance? Like, what is this? It is considered a romance. I was just like, yeah. But I read it from beginning to end. If you like some drama, it's definitely giving like Tubi movie. Straight to Tubi. That's what it was giving. If y'all Tubi watchers, let me know. Don't expect like a before I let go type of situation, like Kennedy Ryan style. That's all I'm saying. But it was still a very enjoyable read. It was average. I think I gave it like a 3.5. Yeah, I give it like a 3.5. Like, I enjoyed it. The ending really killed it for me. It really did. It was getting so good. And then the end, I was just like, the next one I read Bear With Me by Kendra Danielle. Okay, so this one, 5 out of 5, loved it. But like, in terms of romance, this is my kind of romance. Fun. Not, it wasn't like there was some attraction, but it wasn't like insta love or like insta possessiveness. You know what I'm saying? Like this, yeah. It was just a really fun romance. Like, so the book is about this character. His name is Xavier, and Xavier is like a medical student, but he's so caught up in like studying and like becoming a doctor. And his aunt owns this makeup line, and she's all like, boy, you need to let loose. Like, you are too uptight. I'm going to send you to Jamaica to this resort. But he doesn't know what resort. Then we meet a teacher named Denise, and she's also going on a vacation to Jamaica. And she's so excited. Like, she's like, I paid for my own vacation. She's so excited she's going to this new resort. She meets Xavier. Xavier doesn't know that he's going to a new resort. And they meet on the plane, they have some banter. And then they get to this resort, and he's all like, girl, why don't you tell me that we're going to be at this new resort? So, yeah, pretty much at this new resort, he ends up seeing his ex, and they end up fake dating. So when you see this ex, she's engaged to like this superstar actor, or like this heartthrob actor that's on like this pretty much soap series. So he's all like, hey girl, Denise, fake date me because I don't want her to know that I'm still down and out about this breakup. Like, I've moved on too, even though he does still have, some hangups about the breakup. So yeah, so they end up fake dating on this new resort. It's hilarious. I laughed. Yeah, it was just really sweet. It was a sweet, fun, light romance. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Also, I will say that there is some like, it's independently released, so there is like some editing issues. If you're one that does not like not perfectly edited books, maybe this one ain't for you. That doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't take me too much out. It doesn't take me out of the story. when I want to read something fun and lighthearted. So that didn't bother me, but I just want to give you guys a heads up. Okay, let's get into the next one because y'all, we got a couple. The next story I read, and then there was You by Tay Monet. I guess it's also considered a romance, but this was another one that was like it was a messy romance. I actually listened to the audiobook, because who was in the audiobook that I like? Winston James. I think it was Winston James. I think that's why I ended up wanting to listen to it. Anyway, so yeah, so the audiobook was fun, but the storyline, it was a messy one. It's about this law student. I believe her name is Seven. Yeah, Seven. So Seven is a law student, and she's like barely getting by, baby. At the skin of her teeth, right? Is that how the saying goes? Yeah, she's barely getting by in law school, and she comes home. She sees an eviction notice. Baby girl about to get evicted because she's so behind on rent, and she has a neighbor. I can't remember the neighbor's name. It's not important. I mean, it is important. So she has a neighbor who's in a relationship with this guy named Nasir or Nas, and they just have a very spicy love life, like, or relationship. Um, a very active. I don't want to say spicy, maybe active. A very robust. We're gonna say robust. A very robust, and so her neighbor asked Nasir, like, hey, what do you want to do for your birthday? And he's all like, let's do a threesome, which is not new. Like they've had other threesomes in the past. But Seven gets asked by the neighbor, hey, do you want to join in on this birthday threesome? I'll help, give you some money so you can, catch up on some rent, get your life together. So at first Seven's like, hell no. But then, Brent's due, baby. So she's all like, hey, what time you need me there? So Seven shows up and ends up sleeping with like Nas and the girlfriend. But Nas and her have, this little connection going outside. Like Nas is like, ooh, I'm intrigued by baby girl. Like, I want to see what's up, after all this. So they end up hanging out and chilling, and then they start this relationship outside of the girlfriend. Messy. And it only gets messier from there, baby. It only gets messier from there. But that's pretty much that's pretty much the story. It's actually two parts. So I read part one and part two. I listened to part one, I read part two. It was just messy. It was really messy. So messy that I was just all like, girl, don't like, yeah, leave this man alone. And there was just there's actually two stories going on. This is the main one. There's another story with her friend and Naz's friend, and it's like it's a second chance love. Like they were high school sweethearts, and they got broken up. They're meeting again. I believe they're all in their like late 20s. Yeah, I believe they're all in their like mid to late 20s. Baby, a mess. Okay. Every single character. Messy boots. Okay, let's get into my next book. Or my next two books, which I actually have the physical book for. So my original video, I was going to give you guys recommendations on romances that I really enjoy. And then I realized, as I went back and looked at the video, that one, I was like, let me reread these because some of these I haven't read in over a decade. So they might not hit the same because I've changed, society has changed. Like, me reading with new perspective, if I was you all and I went and got this book, would I enjoy it now? That was really my thinking. So I ended up getting two of the books that I recommended. And let me talk about the first one. The first one I got was Sweet Spot by Kayla Perrin. Okay. I feel like I've talked about this before. Have I talked about this before? I know, and when I think of romance, I'm always like, oh, I used to love this book. And this one is about two characters. So a girl named Zoe who aspires to be this big time sports journalist, but she works for like this very bottom of the barrel news network in Los Angeles where she covers like high school basketball and like pig fighting. Like she's not doing exciting sports journalism, but she really wants to be like the top sports journalist. So she decides that she lives in LA. She's going to go from LA to Oakland on a weekend to go to this Raiders game to go see this NFL player named Kahari Brown, who's like this, like he's leading the team. He's leading the team to victory. But the only issue is that he's not a people person with the journalist. Like he does not like he has very curt, short, like, yeah, great, whatever kind of conversations with the journalist. And Zoe thinks that if she goes there and gets this interview, like she's going to get this great interview. She's not going to get these short answers, but she kind of messes up because she goes and gets this interview and she pretty much is like, she ends up bringing up this rumor that Kahari is trying to run from, that he really does not want to give any energy to. So, pretty much Zoe's life pretty much falls apart. It was already falling apart, but it really hits rock bottom because she ends up getting a whole bunch of backlash, not only from her job, but from like the press and everyone. She ends up getting a new job that involves her having to be back in Kahari's life. They get to know each other, and yeah, pretty much it's them kind of falling for each other in that manner. But baby, I was like, wow. First of all, if you don't like a slow burn, like the first maybe 100 pages of this book, Kahari and Zoe have for the most part really nothing to do with each other. We're just kind of learning these characters, and after that, the romance part of this book is actually like literally like maybe 60% into this book. Like it's not super long. So the ending does kind of feel kind of rushed, and there were some loops that were thrown in. I'm like, I don't remember all these loops at the end, like all like these random things that were kind of in there, but it's like when it happens, you're just like, what? Yeah, the ending kind of just threw me for a loop. But the chemistry between Kahari and Zoe, I think that's what I held on to for so long, is that I like the actual chemistry between both characters when we do get them together, even though the ending felt rushed. Would I still recommend this now? I think there's better romances now. But let me just say, I used to love Kayla Perrin. I used to love her. This was my favorite out of all her books. There was Give Me an O, which she pays, those characters come up in this book. Give Me an O. And there was another book called Getting Even that I really liked. Oh, and A Fool for Love, which I didn't recommend because I know that one didn't age well. A Fool for Love was about this character who, like, she slept with this guy in high school, and he was pretty much like a player in high school, and like pretty much her heart was broken. She moves to somewhere in Florida. She kind of forgets about it, but then now she's like this big time like business professional, and he comes back into her life, and they kind of like rekindle their relationship. Which is kind of like they didn't really have a relationship, but whatever. Anyway, I know that one didn't really age that well, but I thought all of them, I thought, oh, I'm always gonna like the sweet spot. I ended up getting it. I'm probably gonna keep it because I don't know, hold a special place in my heart. Another one that held a special place in my heart that I wanted to recommend, I was just all like, this might have not aged well. Played by Dana Davidson. Oops, y'all can't see it. Maybe I put it in my face. Okay, actually had to get this one. I could not find it anywhere. I had to get it used. Um, I had to get it used. And played by Dana Davidson. I read this one. Well, did I read this when I was a little bit younger than the characters? I know I read it when I was in high school, but I might have been like a freshman or a sophomore. So this one, is about this character. His name is Ian. Oh, first let me talk about why I used to love Dana Davidson. Like, maybe I should do. You guys wouldn't be interested. I was like, I should do my favorite young adult authors when I was in young adult, because I thought about it because I read the blurb and it was Jacqueline Woodson, and I used to love her when I was a young adult. Was it Jacqueline Woodson that did Miracle Boys? Did she do Miracle Boys? And I think it's If You Come Softly or something like that. But anyway, I used to love her, and there's about two more I can think of that I used to really love when I was a young adult. Like, I would just eat everything up. And even though Dana Davidson only had 2 books, I felt like, Jason and Kyra was another one that I used to really love, and then Played was another one that I was just like endearing. But then when I read it, I was okay, let me tell you what the book is about. I'm all over the place because I have a lot of thoughts about this book as well. So this one is about this character named Ian, and he is a junior in high school, and he's pretty much a player. Okay, he a player. He a player. How old are you? You're like 17. You're 17, and you're 16, 17, and you're junior of high school. So yeah, I was just all like, how much of a player can you be, baby? Anyway, he's trying to join this high school like frat called FBI, which is I think Freaky Boys Incorporated, which is a dumb name. Sorry, it's dumb now looking back at it. It's a dumb name. Anyway, so pretty much he's being initiated and he has to do all these like crazy things in order to get inducted or initiated into the group. And one of them is try to sleep with Kylie, who is a just average, she's, she mind her business. Like she's not popular. Ian's not really attracted to her. The group doesn't consider her that attractive, and they're all like take her virginity in 3 weeks, and then break up with her. Traumatizing, right? Like traumatizing. Um, and Ian's like, cool, I'm gonna get this ish done. But he starts to get to know her, and even though he knows he has to play her, he ends up really like connecting with her and liking her. But then he's all like, girl, but I can't show you off in school. Like, you're not the type of girl that I'll be all like, this is my girl in the hallways, but I like you. And this I was like, Ian, this is childish. Yeah. So pretty much the book is him trying to play her, but also them falling for her. It was so frustrating. It was the most frustrating. I don't know why. Did I find this endearing, or did I? I think I've always liked messy-ish. I think that's what I'm getting from this. Also, another slow burn. Like it wasn't like an instant attraction. That's another thing. I think I've always been like I don't like instant attraction. I love a slow burn. And I think when I was younger, I liked the whole, oh, she's not that attractive, but actually I love her personality and now she's very attractive to me type stories. Um, and maybe now that's morphed into probably like a second chance because second chance is kind of a slow burn. Even though there's already like established love there, a good second chance. Yeah. Uh, this yeah, played was just Ian was terrible. Ian was actual like whole like not it. So if y'all remember, for the people that have read Monday's Not Coming, um, when Monday is like messing with a guy at school, is this a spoiler? Sorry, guys. But that scene when Monday confronts that guy, that's what I was hoping for. Even though I know how the book goes, but that's what I was hoping for Kylie. I was like, Kylie, the way I would have like just jumped on that man and like I don't promote violence, but like the way I would have like I think, you know, Kylie really got it with her words, but I was like, Ian, you not it. Like Ian was getting all types of even though I know you're 17, it's no excuse to like treat people this way. It's so unkind. And I was just like, also it's not to view granted he's 17, but still problematic. Still problematic. To view your partnership or like you getting with people, I mean people do this like as adults, like we talk about all the time, as this kind of like accessory to your status, like this elevation of status, this person that you're with, actual instead of like a whole companion, that you're going through life with, as a friendship, as a genuine relationship that you're building. I mean, but also he like the friendships that he had, if in terms of him being an FBI, that was also kind of like transactional or a way to build status as well. So I was just like, Ian, I'm looking at you sideways because technically all these relationships, you're using it to build your own ego. And that's problematic for me. I want you to get it together, Ian. I wanted Ian to get it together. I wanted him to really invest in genuine relationship. Not saying that you will probably be friends with everybody that you were with in high school, but would like to think, in high school, maybe more so in college, that you are making connections and bonding with people on a more emotional, compatible, level, you know what I'm saying? For the long haul, you know? Because I was just all like, so FBI, you only gonna be in this for a day, not even 2 years. What is January now? So you about to almost a year and some change. Like, you couldn't have actually maybe Played would have been better suited for like college. But then also, would a frat enjoy this kind of carrying on? Like, yeah, it was just I was just like, boy, like, you're only gonna be here for 2 years. Why are you doing all this? Why? For you to be here for two, what do you get from doing all this? The friendship, and the friendship sucked. Like, they just would dog out people all the time. Like, I didn't actually get the sense that they were actually friends. Like, what made him want to be part of this so bad? To go, so I guess the FBI has these, not I guess, the FBI has these big parties that like a bunch of cute girls go to. It was strange. It was strange. Why did I like this book? I guess because it robbed me up like this. And I think even now, or when I was more so when I was younger, I love books that just emoted some emotion for me. That really got me in my feels. And this one had me in my feels. I mean, it came around at the end, but baby, I was looking at Ian sideways. I was just like, in the book right here, you know? But I made it to the end. And yeah, I was just like, Ian, this is cheesy. I thought Ian was kind of cheesy. I was like, this is cheesy. This is not cool. Like, and also, I think I've gotten to this point that I'm just all like, I mean, Ian doesn't know everything. Um, but in terms of just men in terms of like love, Ian's still kind of like a boy. But just getting the male perspective on like love, relationship, companionship, I do want some vulnerability, some confusion, some I don't know everything, some giddiness, you know. Um, I don't know. I'm thinking I always bring up these same two books, but I'm gonna try. Yeah, this is also bringing me back. I'm gonna try to read more from male writers. Just some good writing from black male contemporary, from some contemporary black male writers. Um, yeah, we need more younger, just more male young adult perspectives about navigating like first love and like first like real intimate relationships in a way that doesn't make it come off like I know everything. Okay, but obviously Ian knows nothing about love, but like yeah, in the most innocent way possible. That's what I mean. Like I just want the innocence of it. That's pretty much it. Yeah, the innocence. Um I'm still working through that thought. But anyway, this that was all that I read this month. Let me know what you guys read this month. Um, Again, the books I read outside of the romance genre, I'll have linked below. And you guys can check out those reviews. Actually, outside of romance, I had some duds in here, but my other reads, My Government Means to Kill Me, excellent, excellent. Watch that review. I loved that book. I actually have to go buy that book because I enjoyed it so much. I just want to kind of I want to have it. And my was it Daughter in Exile? That was another one that was really good. So let me know again what you've read this month. If you've read any of these, specifically Played in the Sweet Spot, or if you used to read Kayla Perrin. Let me know. Let's talk in the comments. Until the next time, guys. Deuces.